What's up, guys? This is Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to give you guys a very quick update about Tesla SPY and the broader markets. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I'm saying as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link that's down below, or use my QR code right here to sign up. If you sign up for Moomoo, the link down below, and deposit $100, you're going to get $20 of free Nvidia stock. If you deposit $2,000, you're going to get $50 worth of Nvidia. Deposits $10,000 to get $300 worth of the stock, or deposits $50,000 to get $1,000 of free Nvidia. You're also going to qualify for an 8.1% APY on uninvested cash, and the offer ends very soon, so please check out my link down below to sign up. Anyways, as far as Tesla's going, we have a tendency of rejecting near 435, and we like to bounce near this 420 area. So we're kind of going back and forth and back and forth. But looking at the setup, we touched 435 only to reject back down, and there is a risk of some downside looking at the current setup. Now, Michael Burry came out and he said that Tesla is overvalued. He has his reasons to say that looking at the price to sales ratio and then the overall forward earnings, Tesla is well above its forward earnings. The PE ratio and such, everything's very high for Tesla. So that just goes to show that there is an argument to be made that Tesla's overvalued, but at the same time, even if Tesla does get some kind of pullback move, that could still be a great buying opportunity because Tesla will likely remain quote unquote overvalued for years to come because investors will continue to price in things years ahead for Tesla as we have the robotaxi, Optimus, and many bullish catalysts. So I still believe that even if Tesla does dip again to the 300s one day, it's going to be a buying opportunity because this will continue to run and be overvalued for years and years and years and years to come, as amazing as that may sound. So overall, I'm still very bullish on Tesla long term, even though there are claims being made that it's overvalued. Yes, it could see corrections here and there and pullbacks, but they're going to be nothing more than buying opportunities. On top of this, the German sales are down 20% relative to a year ago for the month of November. We only saw about 1,763 sales in Germany for Tesla, according to data that just came out. That could be part of why Tesla kind of pumped and then dumped a little bit right here, and we're going to see if support holds. Now, for the overall market, okay, if we're about to pull back or bounce, it also depends on some data. Today, we just got some industrial numbers that came out at 9:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and at 8:15 a.m. we just got the ADP employment change, which was below expectations. We saw a loss of 32,000 jobs in total. We were expecting a gain of 10,000 because the labor market is weak. We're still seeing an increased probability of the Fed cutting, but overall, I just wanted to say that we're waiting on more data and look for volatility at this time. So right now, this is what your focus should be on. At 9:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the S&P Global Composite PMI and Services PMI data. Then at 10 o'clock a.m., we have the ISM Services PMI, business activity, employment, new orders, and prices. Meaning that at 9:45 and 10 a.m., or 15 and 30 minutes after the stock market opens, we have lots of data coming out that could cause some high volatility. So we're going to see if this causes the market to pump or dump. As of right now, the market's dipping, approaching this data. So we're going to be looking to see if we get a big pullback or not. So keep that in mind, especially as time goes on, if we're about to see some kind of rug pull. So once again, volatility 15 and 30 minutes after the stock market opens, data is coming out, especially at 10 a.m. Look for some high volatility. On top of this, when it comes to earnings, just real quick, okay, Macy's has beaten expectations. They did relatively well when it comes to their net income, sales, EPS, and they were surprisingly profitable because Wall Street was not expecting a profit. But despite that, I think Macy's is kind of flat. And then Dollar Tree is doing very well. They raised their full year outlook and the share price is up. So good job by Dollar Tree, good earnings overall. But despite that, it's not really enough to save the markets. So it looks to me like SPY and the QQQ are showing some signs of rejection. Again, we're going to see if we get a big pullback or not, even though they're still technically range bound. And if the market gets a big rejection, that will drag Tesla down. So that's my warning for everyone. That's been my warning for the last couple of days. However, Tesla's just doing this. We touch 435, we come back down to 425, 435, 425, 435. We need to break 435 to be bullish. If we don't, we could retest 425, and we're going to see if that holds on Tesla. If it doesn't, we could be looking for some kind of pullback move. But as of right now, I just see us trading sideways between 435, 425 like this, before we potentially start dipping lower and start dipping back down towards 415. And I think there is a risk of us potentially coming down, so just keep that in mind. So we might consolidate here and then see a bit of a pullback if that ends up being the case. Another reason why Tesla could pull back is the gap down here to fill, so keep that in mind. There's still an unfilled gap. On the SPY chart, I want to add on, we're also trading sideways, but keep in mind, when you look at the chart, we were at 685 back in October, and we got this big rejection. We touched 685 back in November. We got a big rejection. Now we're nearing 685 again. We need to try to break 685 to be bullish. If we can't break that, we're just trading sideways right now. But if we can't, then there's going to be a risk of us getting a rejection. The risk is there. Unless we get back above 685, the odds do favor SPY rejecting, so keep that in mind. On the QQQ, we have a rising wedge-like pattern, and we're showing some signs of rejection, but no confirmation yet. Near 625, we rejected in the end of October, and mid-November, 625 was tested, then we rejected. Now we're testing 625 again, which is what we talked about yesterday. Are we about to reject here? We need to break 625 to be bullish. If we don't, we could continue to reject back down to 613. On the IW, we're making lower highs here. We're going to see if we break for 247. If we don't, look for consolidation, then a dip back down towards 242. On ES, we're also rejecting here. We need to get back above 6860 at the very least, if not 6900 to be bullish. If we don't, we're looking for support at 6800, then the lower levels down here at like 6760. So far, we could be dipping lower. NQ is rejecting here. We're going to see if 25,450 holds. If it doesn't, we could be dumping back down to 25,260. From Google, not Google, sorry, on Bitcoin, excuse me, we need to hold above 93,000. See how we got 1, 2, 3 rejections near there. If we don't hold this, there's going to be a risk of us returning to 90,000. If the whole market comes down, that could drag Tesla down. We're stuck between 435 and 425. And until one of those directions break, Tesla is range bound, but there is a risk of it turning down looking at the current setups. Nvidia pumped and rejected a bit. We're going to see if 180 holds. If not, we could be dipping to 178. Apple's dipping a bit, could be retesting 282.5 if 285 does not hold. Palantir could be dipping back down to 168, and we'll see if it bounces. Otherwise, we favor downside to 165. AMD is going to be favoring essentially 212 and then 210. Coinbase is rejecting here, could be looking for the gap fill and a move back down to 263. Amazon's going to be favoring 231 and then eventually the low 230s. Meta could be favoring essentially 637.9, then eventually 630. So there's some downside risk. Google could once again be tipping back down towards 310. And then Microsoft could be dipping back down towards 475 to 472.5. Also, the VIX is bouncing here, so we could be looking for essentially 17.69 to basically 18 for some upside. And we'll see how it goes. But overall, there is downside risk in this market if we lose support. I also need to see SPY break 685 to be bullish. Otherwise, it's favoring rejection. I need to see the QQQ break 625 to be bullish. If it can't, we're looking for a big rejection back down to 618, then 615 or below. And then for Tesla, we need to break 435. It's not that far from there, but if we can't do that, expect some consolidation, possibly rejection back down to 420. So watch your levels just to be safe, and we'll see how it goes. Thank you for listening, guys, and get ready for some volatility when the data comes out at 9:45 and 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks again, guys. Sorry this video is kind of late. I was recording this earlier and we had some issues, so I had to re-record this video. But anyways, that's it for this one. Thank you for listening, and peace out.